Let's go. The FIFA World Cup is coming to Canada next year. Some of you who watch the channel know I'm a huge soccer fan. I grew up in Nigeria. I played soccer in school. I played soccer in the streets. I played soccer on gaming consoles. We even made paper players for a game we called table soccer. It was that big. It was that big. Soccer was big where I grew up. Unfortunately, Nigeria is not coming to the World Cup. So that means I get to cheer exclusively for the Canadian national team this time. I'm also Canadian. I think we have a great chance in this World Cup. The new expanded World Cup format gives Canada a sneaky chance. I'll break that down for you in a sec. Just let me tell you how. So Canada is in Group B with Switzerland, Qatar, and one of Wales, Northern Ireland, Italy, or Bosnia. They're still playing their qualifiers. I expect it will be Italy that makes it through to the World Cup from those four teams. It would be an epic mock-up if Italy is not in the World Cup next year. And it wouldn't be the first time, I guess. This has been happening to Italy a lot lately. So how will Canada do against Switzerland, Qatar, and Italy if it is indeed Italy that qualifies for the World Cup next year? That is a tough group. And I think Qatar is the weakest team in our group. So I expect them to finish last. I expect Canada to smack them up, to smack up Qatar. I'm just telling you, I expect Canada to smack up Qatar and get our first win in the World Cup ever. I think we should try and see our chances against Qatar. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I think Switzerland is probably going to beat us. If I was being honest, I think Switzerland beats Canada. People tend to underestimate Switzerland, but they're a very good team. They're a lot better than people think. Switzerland tends to do very well in group stages in the World Cup. You know, they do get kicked out in the latter stages, but they're a good team. They're a good team. So I think it will come down to the third game and how Canada does in that last game. The best thing for us is if Italy doesn't come to the World Cup. It just makes things a lot easier for us if Italy is not that third team, right? If it is Italy, we might still be all right. We can sneak a draw maybe. I think we can sneak a draw against Italy. They're not as good as you remember. Italy is a good footballing nation, but they're not as good as they used to be. And they might not even get through the qualifiers. Please. Anyways, here's where the new expanded format might help Canada. If we get out of that group with 4 points, which is it's not that hard really. We win the one game, which I think we can do against Qatar. If we can get a draw in any of the games between Switzerland and against Italy, if we get out of that group with 4 points, well, this is where all the opportunities start to open up. We'll probably be third in that group if we get 4 points. The two best teams in the group move on to the next round. But with this expanded format in the World Cup, there are now 12 groups compared to 8 groups in the last World Cup. So if you do the math, that means there will be 24 teams qualifying for the next round from the 12 groups. That means there will be room for 8 of the third placed teams in each group to qualify for the round of 32. So I think with 4 points, we could actually qualify as one of the best third place teams. We would be very unlucky not to move on to the next round with 4 points. That's doable. What do you guys think? I think that is absolutely doable. Now, that does mean that if Canada does make it to the next round, Canada will face the first place team in one of the other groups. So chances are Canada will probably get smacked out of there. But if Canada makes it into the knockout stages, that is probably where we would say adios to the World Cup. But I mean, I'll take that any day. We've never won a game at the World Cup. Man, give me that right now. Bite your hand off. Give me that. Even if we lose in the second round, it would still be Canada's best ever performance at the World Cup. Let that sink in. This is Canada's third World Cup. We've never won a game. Last World Cup, we got 2 goals. I want to see Jonathan David and Promise David get me some goals in this World Cup. Get me some goals, boys. Alphonso Davies has struggled with his fitness in recent years. I hope he makes that World Cup. He scored one of our goals at the last World Cup. Alphonso, please get back fit. I want to see you at that World Cup. Just allow yourself to dream for a while, guys. Allow yourself to dream. Imagine Canada in the second round of the World Cup. It would be crazy. I think it will be rowdy as hell in Toronto and in Vancouver if that happens. Let's go. Anyways, so that's Canada. I want to take a look at the United States and Mexico because they were also drawn in the draws for the World Cup on Friday. Mexico has an interesting group. They have South Korea, South Africa, and one of the Republic of Ireland, Denmark, North Macedonia, or the Czech Republic. That's a tough group. That's a tough group. It's a bit harder for me to call who the fourth team will be in that group. Between the Republic of Ireland, Denmark, North Macedonia, and Czech Republic, it isn't that much between those teams. So, but I mean, based on pedigree, I don't know. Maybe I'll say Denmark. Right? I think the fourth team in Mexico's group is going to be Denmark. So they'll have South Korea, South Africa, and Denmark, I think, in addition to Mexico. How will Mexico do in this group? I gotta say, I think that's a sleeper group. A lot of people have been suggesting that this group is easy for Mexico. South Korea is actually a good team. This is why you gotta get casuals out of my game, out of the beautiful game. People make all these calls. South Korea is a good team. I think they beat Germany in the last World Cup, guys. South Korea is not a bad team. I think they might top that group. Yeah, I do think Mexico has a good chance of being second or third in that group, and because I think they should be better than South Africa. Personally, I have beef with South Africa because they qualified ahead of Nigeria, my Nigeria, in the Africa World Cup qualifiers. So yeah, fuck them. I hope they get smacked up and sent home pretty early. That's for you, South Africa. Anyways, let's talk about the United States. They have an interesting group. They've got Australia, Paraguay, and one of Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, or Kosovo. Okay, for me, among those four teams that are still left to play their qualifiers, I think Turkey will qualify there. So in that group where you have United States, Australia, Paraguay, and Turkey, by my prediction, I think Australia and the United States will have to fight for third in that group. Now, whoever wins the game, the head-to-head between them, I think that team comes third. I don't think the United States beats Turkey. You can prove me wrong if you like. Get in the comments. I don't think the United States can beat Turkey. If indeed it is Turkey that qualifies, that is, as I said, they're still playing their qualifiers. Paraguay, they're a decent team as well. So who knows? Maybe the United States might overachieve. Maybe they might get second. I don't know. But if Turkey's in there, that's bad news for the United States, I think. Paraguay, maybe they'll be second in that group if it is Turkey that qualifies. Anyways, that's a quick roundup for the host teams. That's how I expect them to perform in the group stages. Once the groups are finalized, once these European qualifiers are done, we can make some early predictions at that point. I'll tell you once and for all who I expect to get out of those groups. And hey, in case you're new here, yeah, we just started. This channel is all new. It's brand new. This one's for the fans, soccer fans in Canada. Subscribe to this channel. You don't want to be anywhere else. We will bring you watch-alongs, fan commentary as we build up to the World Cup. I'll get some of my buddies to come on as well. People that are crazier about soccer than I am. And that's hard to beat. But it will be fun. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.